A while ago, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm really gonna like show that these builds I make, you know, they're niche and they do some weird stuff sometimes, but they're still usable in the high end. And you know, I was like, I'll go do like a load of solo GMs, and I was like, yeah, I'm so pumped for doing that. And then I went and did none of it. So this is what this is. This is me actually following through with what I said I was gonna do. Again, I can't promise I'm gonna be consistent with doing these, because whenever I think like, oh, I can go and do a GM commentary, I'm then thinking, yeah, but I could be making a build video for something cool. And I've still got like a load of ideas floating around of what I want to do. But I thought, you know, kind of bridge the gap between some of that stuff. I could do this GM. And this is also such a good GM for this build, because this has got so much caked in stuff for dealing with champs. For overloads, it's all of the slow in the kit, Dustfield, Shurikens, and then in the same way, those things also shatter, which deals with unstops. So you look at a champ and they're just like, ah, okay, well, I guess I'm stunned then. It's so good for them. And also, this build has got so much survivability in it. We're using an Inmost Light Certarachne roll. There's going to be a dim link down below, but I've also done kind of like an entire build video on this. And I was really happy with how that turned out. Again, that's doing another solo gem. I think that was not Devil's Lair, Fallen Saber. And it just shows it using different champs there too. Yeah, I think it was Barrier at the time, but you just see how much this build just stomps on this kind of high-end gem content. I actually use this in my contest mode run of Vespers, but I didn't finish that because I had family round, so like, no, I had family round from Australia. So I was like, yeah, I probably can't just be like, actually guys, I gotta go do Vespers host. Anyway, you're just seeing so far what the build is doing. Spamming loads of gunpowder gambles, shurikens, freezing, slowing, all of them. This build also can build up supers pretty quickly. And you've got a lot of flexibility. I talk about this in the video, and to be honest, the theme of the build was kind of like fire and ice, so I was like, yeah, you can use Silence and Squall or Goldie, but now you can also use Silk Strike too. It's just been tuned up, and it's now not only dealing more damage to champs, but also recharging way faster. And with Winter Shroud as well, you can dodge during your Silk Strike, and then one dodge is Overload Stun, and then the second one is Freeze, and then you can just do like a regular kind of like, I guess you call it like light attack. You just shatter them, and then that's Unstop Stun too. I really enjoy supers where I'm able to deal with champs during them, and Silk Strike is amazing for Overload and Unstop. As for what I'm using, apart from just abilities that you can see so far, the gun, what I'm using right now is an Adhortative with Heal Clip Incandescent. The Incandescent part isn't kind of like super impactful, but Heal Clip in this one absolutely is. Not only are things having to break through Woven Mail, which is already a load of damage resist, Winter Shroud damage resist too, but every single time I heal, it's like it's basically double as effective, because if they have to break through Woven Mail and all of that healing, you're just so tough to kill. I promise you, if you run this GM using this build, you will be so safe, and you can throw in Transcendence, it's damage resist too, you're just tough to kill. And everything you look at most of the time can be frozen or slowed, and it's just, I mean, you see what it's doing. Like, it's not doing anything at crazy speeds, but it's just super steady. You don't have to worry about dying so much. You've got a lot of healing, got a lot of damage resist. It's just churning through this stuff. And it's also pretty efficient because it uses so many abilities for just dealing with ads. So ammo economy, okay. I'm low on conditional because I maybe use that gun too much. But yeah, it's just like, it's really good for that kind of stuff. Apart from that, there's also the modifier. I don't know what it's called, but the one where you get like loads of health, but you get less healing. It's a big reason why, I mean, I would have used adhesive anyway in this build, just because, and also probably edge transit too, because you want to have mainly light damage weapons because you've got so much dark from shurikens and duskfield. Also why I like using a light super, but yeah, I'm using it because heal clip, and it just gives healing to the build through basically a weapon. Same kind of thing in No Hesitation, but there you are going to need someone to heal, and although that's better, like that's restoration too, which works with some of the stuff that we've got. Like we've got Facet of Hope, where it's on having an elemental buff. You can get restoration from No Hesitation, so yeah, it's nice there too. But again, I mean, you don't need it. You can see what this build does without that gun. And this is just like what it does. Ability spam, healing, survivability, nothing at crazy speeds, but it just works really well. As for this gem itself, if you've been like, you know what, I want to do a solo gem, this is a really easy one. I died, I think I said 4 times before I got this. It was from stupid stuff. Like I died twice in like the little gap after you kill that first champ at the start because I was doing some skimmer tricks and I fell in. But otherwise it was, I think blowing myself up with edge transit was another one. Because I kid you not, I think I said it before, my grenade launcher got shot at, yeah, by these purple things that they're shooting right now. The hitbox on these is so much bigger than I thought. And it happened twice. I was like, oh man, that sucks. But, I mean, apart from that, you're tough. You're a tough cookie to kill. Yeah, I mean, oh, okay. These immune totems, I have a moment at the end where I was just getting, like, plagued by them. I genuinely reckon I could have shaved a minute extra off of this run, because I was just like, how many of these totems are there? They're screwing me. Oh, also here, slow is supposed to disrupt overloads. This guy was not having them. He was like, you know what, actually, I think I'm not gonna get stunned. I was like, how many more shurikens and dust fields do I have to throw at you? Anyway, there you go. And here, we just keep on moving through. Apart from that, I'm working on a build video at the minute, but I'm also working on like a is Prismatic healthy for Destiny video, and like I think this is the hardest script I've ever had to write. It's been through like multiple script rewrites. I really want to talk about it. I think it's important to talk about it, but like I'm struggling. Normally when I do a build, it's kind of like, it's got a formula. It's like you talk about combos and you talk about kind of like what the build does, yada yada yada. With this one, I feel like no matter what I say, there's going to be someone who disagrees with it. I'm trying to be fair here, but yeah, it's a weird build. Build? Not even build. I can't speak English anymore. I've lost my native tongue. Yeah, I'm not really talking about this GM as much as I probably should be. I don't really need to be honest. You kind of see what it's doing. It's just super steady. Just shoot gun, throw shuriken, freeze, slow, stun jams, shoot super. Oh, one thing, another reason why I'm using tether here. You're going to have this for the rest of the act, so abuse this as much as you can. But tether obviously applies weaken, and we have power from pain in the seasonal artifact at the minute, which means not that this build needed any more survivability, but you've now also got devour, which is ridiculous. It's like a healing on every single kill, but it's also even more grenade regen, which this build doesn't need, but you got it anyway. It's there for you to use. So yeah, it's another reason to use tether. Not that anyone needed it. Only other thing I think, I don't know if Facet of Purpose is on this build. I think it might be. But if you're using Silence in School here, which again is a valid choice for you to use, you've got Frost Armor as well, which a load of stuff from the season last fat works with. So, yeah, you got that. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say, apart from just saying, I look at what the build does. It's just super, super steady. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at this commentary stuff, sorry. Yeah, just shoot stuff, keep on moving forward. Yeah. And also, this build, I think maybe Stasis Surge is active, and obviously there's like a decent amount of stasis damage in the kit, but even if it isn't, I'm still kind of like, yeah, I'm happy using this build, just because it's so good at what it does. Your anti-barrier here, not that we've got anti-barriers in this GM, but if you're going into one that it does, you've got Radiant again, so it just breaks the rule of those. Oh, one thing that is weird, this isn't anything to do with the GM, but Bungie were like, we're not giving anti-barrier, because I've got anti-barrier shotgun on now, I'm fairly sure. But they were like, we're not going to give that to conditional because it already stuns unstops. It was like, that's weird. I mean, it stuns them because it's got subclass verbs, but could it not do that too? Is it that game breaking? They were like, yeah, it's so busted if it can do anti-barrier too. That's too insane. I was like, okay, well, sure. I mean, it gets anti-barrier again from Facet of Dawn for Radiant, so it doesn't matter too much. We chop loads of shurikens anyway. Here, I can't remember if I transcend or not, just to deal with this. Okay, I think I don't because I want to save it for the area afterwards. Yeah, there you go. I don't need it anyway. Again, like, it's not the fastest clear of champs, but it's just steady. It's super steady. I was being stubborn, I want to say, last week, when it was the Moon Battleground thing, and I was trying to use the Combination Blow Galanor Liars build, which is also up on the channel, and it just was not working, but I really wanted to use that, and I was being stubborn, and yeah, I lost too much of my weekend to trying to make that work. Here, I tethered to get suppression on, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't really needed. I probably didn't need to super there, but I mean, it comes back pretty quick anyway. One thing that I have changed in this build since putting that video up is I now run double dynamo on the helmets, and I'm also using double distribution on the class item, just because on dodging, which this build can do a load from Inmost, Facet of Hope, and yeah, Inmost, Facet of Hope, and Winter Shroud. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name there. You just get so much class ability regen that it felt worth it. I mean, you can see dodge. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there you go. So every 7 seconds from distribution, dynamo, I think it's something like 7% of a super. I'm not even using my supers that well here. I'm not spamming them that much, but you could if you wanted to. And again, the roaming super buff that they just got, that's going to be even more insane spam here. But the thing with this build, the neutral game is already so insanely spammy that I kind of almost don't want to be inside of a super because I lose out on everything that you're seeing at the minute. It's why when I kind of talked about this build when I made it, I was like, Silence in School, Goldie, or Tether. Just because the one and done ones, they just get you back into what you're seeing right now, this gameplay loop, which is just so strong. I mean, I know there's obviously the modifier that gives you more health, but I'm not even under a quarter of my health. I'm just standing in front of 2 unstopped abominations, which are like really hard hitting jams, and the build is just like, yeah, you know, I can do that, why not? Yeah, and to be honest, this, I think we're coming up to the boss room. Yeah, okay, yeah, we are. This boss room, the only thing I will say is just when the ads spawn in, deal with them, and when the boss spawns his totems, destroy them. You'll see in the, I think the last phase, he just keeps on spawning these immune totems. It's what I was talking about before, and they were so annoying. It's just, I was spending so much time being like, right, I can't do anything right now because everything's immune because there's like 3 different totems up at the same time. Deal with them, deal with the ads that spawn in, super any kind of like Bane enemies if you have to. One thing that's really nice about this modifier is that the Drain Bane, the one where it just kind of like zaps your health away, is so much less annoying to deal with. So much less. You'll see, I think there's a Raider, I'm not sure. There's something that has a Drain Bane, and you can just see like what it normally does, which is just like sucks your health down to like basically red bar, to almost dead. And here it's just like a little tick, 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 and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't mind it when it's doing this amount of damage. But yeah, you can just see like it's everything that you've seen throughout the run already. Gunpowder Gamble, you heal off Gunpowder Gamble, Shurikens, everything gets slowed and frozen. It's just kind of like I'm explaining stuff you've seen. I somehow managed to throw my Dust Field through his legs, which, you know, I don't know if that's impressive or I'm bad. And then, yeah, you know, like add spawn, toss in a Withering Blade. If you need to in this final arena, just don't forget that you do also have a primer in this build, and if it's a heal clip one, it's going to be nice in healing you. Yeah, you can just see, spamming my stuff here. Healing off of Gunpowder Gamble from my fragments. I think it's Faceted Mending. I've been calling it Faceted, I'm fairly sure it's Faceted Mending. I'm pretty sure. We've also got Facet of Ruin in this build. You've got so many ignitions and shatters, and it also works nicely if you're running Silence and School here. So it's kind of like a mandatory fragment for better damage. And here you can just see, I'm just blinking away the boss. I never knew this. These totems can spawn ammo. You see a little special brick pop down. When I saw that, I was like, I've literally never seen that once in my life before. And then here, I'm low health, so I just sit at the back, and I think I try and get heal clip procs off of some of these Scroobs. Also, just running into Scroobs probably wasn't a great idea. So yeah, you can just see heal. Pick up the orbs for more healing. I don't have any scavenger mods on in this build. I think you... Actually, no, you wouldn't be able to. I've got, yeah, as I said, double dynamo. That was a change I made from the original version. But I've also got a solar siphon on, which could be harmonic if you're using Goldie, but it's worth it to do so. If you're really wanting to get like the best synergy with this build, you can use a solar heavy if you want that synergy, but I was just like, yeah, I'm in a edge transit mood. I just want something good that I can spam into a champ. And yeah, there we go. Like, there's not that much to talk about more than what you've just been seeing throughout this gameplay. Again, slow on the champ, get the dust field on, dodge. Now because I've got the boost, I get increased regen on everything. Again, it's just what you've been seeing over and over and over and over because it's spammy. And yeah. Just go back in. I think you get an ogre spawn on the left and unstop ogre. I'm not sure if that changes. But you see here, I super this immediately because I see a Drain Bane. It's not as bad in this GM with the modifier, but it's still bad. So I see I can finish it and then just straight away I want that gone. They're so annoying. Alongside slow Banes as well. They're really annoying too. Again, boss is just stuck in the tether. Oh, one thing I haven't talked about, which you maybe wondered, I don't know. There is a harmonic holster on the legs, which means that I can just send off one shot of conditional and get the ignition and then stow it. And then you see I pull it out again for the ignition shot. It's a really nice way to not only make the reserves of that have kind of like higher total damage, but it's also pretty nice for your Transcendence bar. Again, this build is fairly dark ability heavy. You need to try and get as much light Transcendence in the build as possible, and just using them as a piece of tech works nicely. Again, if you have a solar heavy, it's going to work with that too. But yeah, you can see, get the ignition on the boss, that should fill up Transcendence by a nice chunk. Then yeah, GPG, and Transcend. Yeah, like, I don't know what more to say. It's just Shuriken, Grenade, Dodge, Shuriken, Grenade, Dodge, Shuriken, Grenade, Dodge. Also, I don't know what happened to my grenade there, but it kind of like flew in the air from when he did the ground pound, which was weird. Again, this is foreshadowing because he's already summoning those immune totems. You'll see what I talk about in a little bit. It shouldn't be too long because I think... yeah, he should be gone in a bit. I'm trying to save my heavy here. At this point, this was the kind of furthest run that I had. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to save my heavy and try and just burst him down. This is like the arena that you had before. There's an overload at the end. Just follow one of these paths. They're not difficult. This was actually like the easiest part of this boss room, I'd say. You just keep on going. Yep, there you go. I don't know what more I can say. But yeah, just keep on going. Again, you're seeing nothing different here. I don't know if I spend Transcendence on killing this overload, actually. Maybe I do. I don't know. Oh, if you're seeing any of these elemental pickups as well, that's from Facet of Awakening. It is a super, super underrated fragment. One thing that you can also do, in fact, I've taken this build into like boss damage settings a few times. I think I was using this in my contest mode Vespers, but I put on Facet of something. Facet of the one where you freeze and suppress and you reload your weapons and make stasis shards. But Awakening for stuff like GM content, it's so good. Alright, and this is where these totems, oh my, you're going to see what I'm talking about in a minute. Alright, there's already one up. I'm like, oh great, I throw a gunpowder gamble, doesn't get destroyed. Shoot my tether and I still hit C up, and then I shoot my tether because I'm like, where is this thing? Shoot it again. Then it goes. And then I look back and there's just one straight away after. Again, it's just back and I'm like, right, okay, I'll shoot it. And then there's just one behind me and I'm like, where has this even come from? And here I'm just like, right, this is getting ridiculous. I need to heal. And I think I get into like red bar health. It's still there somehow after I put so many rounds into it. I think I use heal clip on my gun now. Yeah, reload. And then there's another immune totem. And I'm just like, can they stop? And I think I look back over and then there's two more. Yeah, look, there's just one in the corner here. I'm like, can you just stop spawning in these stupid totems? Anyway, I'm like, okay, maybe it's this overload doing it. Do it. And then there's another one in mid. Just another totem. Anyway, slow dealing with the overload. Just get him down. And I was like, you know what, I'll spend heavy. I don't want to die here and have to reset. And then the boss just really nice spawns on top of me. And then there's two. Two more totems. I was wanting to be like, you know what, I'm going to get this last phase done really quickly. And the game was like, no, you got to shoot totems first. And then, look, I'm just like, right, I'm getting these out of my way. And then here, I'm pretty sure I super. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, boss damage time. Finally, dealt with the ads. Stoke conditional to get the ignition shots, which I then let reload into stasis, which was a mistake. Almost blow myself up with edge transit there. And then yeah, here it's just kind of like race to the finish. I see that fire totem and I'm like, you know what, that's got to go. So these ads too. There you go. Right, nice, it's gone. This boss also has like a weird habit of kind of walking into you. I don't know why. It just does. But with all the ignitions going off, it was pretty easy to stun this boss. Sorry. Pretty easy to stun this boss. And, yeah. I mean, here I think I'm... Another immune totem, my favorite. And then, yep, just kind of getting radiant, yada yada yada. Throwing abilities, another immune totem, just bane of my life at this point. And then just edge transit and blink away. And that's the realm. I'm probably going to show the build at the end here and just go through it, but there's a full breakdown on this. There's a video, which I recommend you go look at. The mod setup in that video is different from what I'm using here, but both of them are still really good. I was using conditional a lot in that vid, so, and if you want to, I think I had special ammo finder and special ammo scouts. But yeah, I switched to double dynamo distribution. Anyway, that's about it. Let's see if I can do more of these in the future.